Welcome everybody. So we've got a lot done so far. We've done a lot of work. We've got the front bearing, the back bearing cover, the two wheel covers, and both of these side panels done. We're still missing on the inside here. We're missing this inside bearing cover here. We don't need one on this side because the motor goes there. And then we need to create all of this, all this stuff from this side over for the other side of the robot. Oof. But if you're thinking that sounds like a lot of work, it actually isn't. I'm going to show you this really neat trick called mirroring that's going to make making all these things super easy. So let's just jump right in and get going. All right, so in Fusion, we've got our robot here. I'm going to rotate around so we can see the other side. I want to take this exact bearing cover and just put it on this side as well. Now I could go through and remake the bearing cover just like I made this one and it would work out perfectly. But what I want to do is do something fast and easy. I'm going to do what's called a mirror. So when you look in the mirror, you see yourself looking back at you from a little distance away. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a mirroring plane. So we're going to create the surface of the mirror, if you will. To do that, we're going to use a construction plane, and we're going to use what's called a midplane. What this does is it creates a surface, a plane, halfway between whatever two objects you click on. So in this case, I want to be halfway between this face, the outside panel face, and the face of the inside panel. Notice what it's done. It's actually created this orange plane right down the middle here. This is going to be our mirror that's going to make this flip over there. So once I do that, I'm going to click OK. And now I've got this huge plane cutting my model right. You can see how it cuts it right in half. Okay. Now I'm going to come over to the Create menu and come down to where it says Mirror. And I'm going to click on this, make sure this says Bodies. If it says something else, change it to Bodies, because I want to mirror the whole body. I'm going to click on this outside bearing cover. And then I'm going to tell it the mirror plane is this big orange thing we just made. And now if I flip it to the other side, notice how it's showing me what it's going to make. It's going to create this shape from the outside here and mirror it to there. What? That's fantastic. And we're going to click OK. And now all of a sudden I have made that inside bearing in just a few seconds. So next thing I want to do is I'm just going to come here, open up my construction folder, and I can turn this plane off, otherwise it's going to be in the way all the time. And all of a sudden, bam, I've got that one. Notice how I have bearing cover or back bearing cover 1. That's this one that it created. It named it 1 because this one was already called back bearing cover. Yay, we're ready. All right, now we need to take all of the parts we've made so far and we're going to mirror them to the other side of the robot. So I'm going to hit the home button real quick and we're going to mirror them all over here to this side. Now at this point, it's important to go the right way. The outside panel has a front bearing and a back bearing cover. The inside panel has just a bearing cover. So make sure you're looking at the outside panel right now. All right, the next step is to create that mirroring plane. To do that, we need to know how wide the overall robot is. Okay, so the width of the robot, so across this whole distance here is 250 millimeters. We want the mirror plane to be right down the middle of it. So halfway between 250 is 125 millimeters. Now to make a plane 125 millimeters from this side, which is the halfway point, we need to create what's called, in the construction here, an offset plane. And we're going to then click on the outside face here, not one of these orange things, but this outside face of the panel here. And then we want to move it to the inside this way. So make sure that you're putting the plane on the inside panel side. And that for me is going to be a negative number. And I want it to be negative 125. That's that halfway to 250 and hit enter. Now watch how cool this is. All the work we've done to build all these parts, we're going to do all that work over again in just a few seconds. So I'm going to come here again to create and mirror. And I can go through and try and click on all the parts, or I can just come to my bodies folder and click on all the bodies I've made so far, one at a time. That's all 7 of my bodies. Make sure object type says body. If it says something else, you got to switch it back over to body. So make sure that's true. I'm going to select my mirror plane, click on this big plane I just made, and you can see what it's doing. It's going to create this gray part over here by mirroring all those pieces. And it's going to do it instantaneously. Oops, except I've just noticed something. Let's hit cancel here. I forgot to do something with you. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to turn my plane off here in my construction folder. Sorry about this. We never cut the screw holes in the wood and the panels. We need to cut screw holes so we can connect these two panels together. So I'm going to create a sketch on this surface here. So on the plywood surface here, I'm going to create a sketch. And this is the inside plane. Make sure you don't see a bearing cover. You see the 3 holes right now. And what I'm going to do is just punch holes through. So I need to know where the wheel cover is so I know where to put the holes. So what I'm going to do is use P for project. I'm going to make sure it's set to the body section here. And then I'm going to click on this wheel cover. Notice what it's doing is drawing lines where the wheel is. And I'm going to come over here and click on this back wheel cover as well. And then I'm going to click OK. Now when I switch back over to the left view by clicking on the left up here, it'll square me up. I can see, okay, now I've got those circles on there. I'm going to add another circle, but this time I'm going to use a construction circle. And I'm going to click in the middle here and drag it up to about the middle between the two, and that's supposed to be 125, and hit enter. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. So I'm going to grab a circle. It's still a nice construction circle. Find the center right here. There we are. And then type in 125, enter. And my holes are going to be on that. So I'm going to actually hide all these other pieces so I'm not being confused by what's going on. I need to cut 3 holes. One at the top here, and then another one here, and another one here. Same thing on that one. So I'm going to grab my circle tool, come up to the top. I know I'm on this construction line circle when I get an X like that. And I'm going to go right up here, and it's going to snap into the top and click, drag it out. Oh, I still have a construction line. So I want to turn my construction line off because I'm going to use this to create a hole with. And I'm going to just type in 4.5 and enter. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do it down here, about like there-ish, and then do 4.5, enter. And then I'm going to use the C key to create a circle. So instead of clicking it in the menu, you can just hit the letter C on the keyboard. Come over here and do 4.5. Doesn't really matter where, just down here somewhere. We'll line them up later. C again, come to the top here and do 4.5. And then C again, somewhere down over here, and then 4.5. Again, on that construction circle. C, click on the construction circle, 4.5, enter. Now we're going to take a construction line. So I'm going to turn my construction line on. I'm going to connect this first circle all the way over to the last circle, the center of it, right there. Now what I want to do is I'm going to make this line horizontal. So I'm going to use the horizontal constraint up here and then click on that construction line. That'll make it perfectly flat and level across. And then I'm going to use my coincidence tool, zoom in here. I'm going to click on the center of the circle and then click on the line, and it'll line that one up with the line. And then the center of the circle here, the little circle, and with that line there. Now they're all lined up. Last thing I'm going to do is do D for dimensioning. And I want this line to this circle, center of this circle. I want that to be 10 millimeters. So type in 10, hit enter. Everything is locked in place now. All right, last thing I need to do is I need to extrude all 6 of these holes. So I'm going to turn everything back on. Make sure everything is turned on. That way everything gets cut as you do this. So I'm going to hit E for extrude. I'm going to click on that little circle, this little circle, that one, and these 3 as well. Make sure you're clicking slow so you don't misclick. If you do misclick something, you can just click it again usually to get it off. If it doesn't work, you have to hit cancel and redo the extrusion. All right, now I'm gonna tip it so I can see what's going on. And I can see here's my arrow to pull. I'm gonna pull it out the back side, and instead of letting it go way over extruded like that, I'm gonna do distance here and change it to all the way through, and then click OK. And now if I tip it back to that side view, you can see we have holes that go all the way through our part. All right, we're doing great. Hang in there. Now we have the parts totally done. Sorry about that. We have the holes in place now on both back and front. Now we need to mirror them. So I'm going to come back to my construction folder, turn on plane 2, tip it over a little bit, and now I'm going to come back and do that over again. I'm going to do a create, mirror. I'm going to choose, make sure this says bodies right up here. If not, choose bodies. I'm going to choose all of these bodies that we've made so far. Now I'm going to come over here and say select mirror plane. This is what my midpoint, my mirror plane. And then I'm going to say, you can see what it's making. It's just so cool that it does this also really fast. And then click OK. And you can see right away we've just made those other 7 bodies. And now we've got 14 bodies in our bodies folder. I'm going to come back here, turn off plane 2, hit the home view, and bam, we're doing so great. This was a long video. Sorry it got so long on us, but everything is fantastic. Keep it up. You're doing wonderful work.